Bayern Munich are in talks with Liverpool for the signing of Cody Gakpo. Chelsea are about to put a bid down for Ekitike from Frankfurt. There's new talks coming out with Arsenal and Julian Alvarez, and Manchester United are in for Brian and Mbeumo. It is a forward transfer video special. Make sure you go down, drop a like on the video if you haven't already. Make sure you do go down and smash the life out of this subscribe button. We just hit 54K. The road to 60K is well and truly on. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and let me know your thoughts on every topic we discuss. Now, I want to start with the deal coming out from Florian Plettenberg. When it comes to the Bundesliga, he is the most reliable transfer journalist out there. He gets 99% of things practically right. And he's come out there talking about Cody Gakpo. Now, Bayern Munich are looking at both Cody Gakpo and Eberl Eze. Now, we know Bayern have a good relationship with Palace, with Elise before last summer. So could they go back in for Eze? But before we get into that, Bayern are now considering, Bayern are now also considering Cody Gakpo in their search for a higher profile left winger. Now, we know that Galatasaray have a contract proposal on the table for Leroy Sané, as well as Kingsley Coman will be leaving, but surely Liverpool will not be selling this guy. Now, we know Michael Edwards, one of the best directors of football, one of the best brains at Liverpool, as well as Hughes. Surely they aren't going to let this go. The 26-year-old Dutchman is on the shortlist behind Mitoma and Rafael. They're already in talks regarding Gakpo, and still is. Max Eberl likes him. I think that's the new CEO of Bayern Munich. Gakpo is considered a potential departure candidate at FC Liverpool if a suitable offer arrives. Contract until 2028. I mean, I really like Cody Gakpo. I think he's a top player. I think this season has been probably his best season across all competitions in a Liverpool shirt. He's on £120,000 a week. He performed for the League Cup for Liverpool when they got to the final against Newcastle. He's performed in the Champions League. He's performed in the Premier League. You know, this season, in terms of Cody Gakpo's stats, 25 GA in 49 games. Only played 1,900 minutes in the Premier League. Come off the bench quite a few times. You know, if there's a deal for around maybe 60, 70 million, I think that would be a decent return for Cody Gakpo. But I just think it would be criminal, absolutely criminal, if Liverpool let this guy go. He's 26 years of age. Now, we know Edwards likes a young squad other than Alisson, Robertson, other than Salah, and maybe one other. I think everyone's under the age of 28. You know, 15 GA and 35 in the Premier League, 3 goals in the Champions League and 1 assist in 8. But look at his EFL Cup return, 6 GA in 6 games, 25 GA, roughly 1 in 2. For a guy that I think him and Salah are the best Liverpool forwards by far. I'm not really content on Luis Diaz, but it looks like Luis Diaz may get a new contract. They've also got Jota, they've got Nunez, Harvey Elliott. Who knows what's happening with him? I think, you know, if Liverpool can bring in a better replacement in terms of the left winger, we know they're big fans of Rodrigo. You know, they're big fans of Nico Williams. Does Nico Williams and get more than 25 GA, 1 in 2? I'm not necessarily sure, but that is a massive bit of news coming out from Florian Plettenberg, who's the most reliable journalist when it comes to German transfer news that we know. I think that'd be an unbelievable bit of business for Manchester United. Not Man United. I was reading something about United, for Bayern Munich. Now, Miguel Delaney, who's another really, really good transfer journalist, has come out and said Chelsea are strongly considering the signing of Hugo Ekitike. Now, I've seen Hugo Ekitike play Spurs this season, and let me tell you, he is one hell of a talent. Chelsea fans should be very optimistic about this. And of course, we know they're also looking at Liam Delap. Hugo Ekitike 22 years of age, got Frankfurt back into the top four of Germany. Frankfurt finished third, 3 points above Dortmund. The top goal scorer of the Bundesliga was, of course, Harry Kane. But in the top 6 scorers, there was Hugo Ekitike. Now, he's a top player for me. I think, he is, of course, a little bit raw, only 22 years of age. But his stats for Frankfurt have been very, very good. Now, we know Frankfurt have already lost one big player this season in Omar Mamouche. Are they prepared to go and let another one go? Well, it depends on their financial situation, but an £84 million bid, and this is coming out from Miguel Delaney, who we've seen Romano quote a number of his stuff. Football writer at The Independent. He's a very, very good transfer journalist. When you look at Hugo Ekitike's stats, they are very, very good. 34 GA in 48 games is unbelievable. 15 goals and 8 assists for a 22-year-old. His numbers are actually better, I believe, than Benjamin Sesko for RB Leipzig, who we know is wanted by Arsenal, wanted by Chelsea, wanted by a few others. He only got 21 goals and 6 assists, whereas Hugo Ekitike got 12 goals and 12 assists. Now, you could argue Sesko played in the Champions League, and you could argue that, Ekitike played more games in the Europa League. They're both very young, raw players with not a huge amount of experience in their careers, as well as Liam Delap is another one wanted by Chelsea. Now, Liam Delap has, according to Chris Wheeler coming out from the Daily Mail, Chelsea are now ahead of Manchester United in the race for Liam Delap. Now, I like Liam Delap, but I think he is a tad overrated. It's a massive step up. Scoring 12 goals for Ipswich is not the same as scoring 12 goals for Man United or 12 goals for Chelsea. There's a lot more pressure at Man United and Chelsea, especially when Chelsea are going for the Champions League. If they sold Jackson for, say, 30, 40 million pounds and brought in Hugo Ekitike as well as Liam Delap, I think that would be a very, very good bit of business. He's available for only 30 million pounds. And even if he does have a bad season, you could sell him and still probably make some profit on him, purely on the fact that because he's English and he's playing at the top 6 club. Now, Graham Bailey has come out and said Tottenham manager Ange Postecoglou is still expected to be sacked. Now, we know that Marco Silva has come out to say that he expects to be staying at Fulham. And we know that Andoni Iraola wants about £20 million. Bournemouth want to let him go, which leaves the shortlist down to Thomas Frank. Now, you've seen what Thomas Frank has done at Brentford, keeping them afloat after losing big players like an Ivan Toney, for instance. Their recruitment at Brentford's been unbelievable to bring in Visa and Mbeumo for a combined fee of £30 million to get 2 players that are nearly both on 20 league goals of last season. It's an unbelievable piece of business. If Thomas Frank is available, bring this guy in. I think he's a better manager than Ange Postecoglou. Ange Postecoglou, as great as this Europa League win has been, we can't have another season of 21 Premier League defeats, 22 Premier League defeats. I honestly think if Thomas Frank's available, go and get him. Bring him. You can bring in Brian and Mbeumo and Visa. There is no excuse for Tottenham not to go out there and do 150 million plus. All the sponsors have now got to pay out massive bonuses because we're in the Champions League. The Champions League revenue, the revenue from winning the Europa League, plus some sales. We may sell Christian Romero for 60 to 70 million pounds. The guy's played in 5 finals, won all 5, 2 Copa Americas, 1 World Cup, a Europa League, and the trophy for the winner of the Copa America and the Euros. You can expect some big departures from Tottenham potentially this summer if the right bid comes in. Manchester United are pursuing a move for Brian Mbeumo. Now, if Man United finish 15th or 16th and can bring in Cunha and Brian Mbeumo for less than £110 million, you got a guy that we just spoke about. I think he got 19 Premier League goals for Brentford. Now, we know this guy is massively wanted by a number of clubs. 20 league goals and 7 assists in 38 games. Availability to play every single Premier League game. The output. He's 25, 26 years of age. I honestly think he could be a very, very big signing for Manchester United at £50 million. Romano's already given the here we go with regards to Matthias Cunha. So Man United could be in business. And you've also got to remember that no Europe as well. He said this was the here we go 22 hours ago. No European football trimmed down the squad. And I don't think people understand how big a pre-season is going to be for Manchester United going into next season. You know, they can trim that squad down massively and probably push for a European place, you know, if they get the recruitment right. You know, one big story that has come out today, coming out from Marca, is that Arsenal are the team pushing the hardest to sign Julian Alvarez from Atletico Madrid. Joined Atletico Madrid, had a relatively good season. The former Atletico director of football at Atletico, Andrea Berta, knows perfectly what the former Manchester City player can do. If I'm going to be brutally honest, I don't necessarily think this will happen. I think the shortlist has been narrowed down to Benjamin Sesko and has been narrowed down to Victor Gyökeres. I honestly believe that you look at Julian Alvarez's season of 17 goals and 4 assists in La Liga, as well as 8 GA in 10 in the Champions League. He is a top player who has a pedigree for winning league titles, won a Champions League. His wages, he's on €136,000 a week, which is about 120K. Arsenal can comfortably improve this salary. Played in big games this season for Atletico Madrid. They got to the Copa del Rey semi-final. They got to the Champions League as well, last 16 against Real Madrid or whatever it was. You know, 29 goals he scored for Atletico Madrid this season with 7 assists in all competition. I think whoever he signs for, or even if he stays, he's a top player who's won trophies, scored goals at the World Cup, won a Copa America. His career is absolutely stacked. If he signs for Arsenal, it's going to be a statement signing. But I honestly believe, as of right now, it will be Benjamin Sesko or it will be Victor Gyökeres. I still think it will be Victor Gyökeres, but whoever he signs for, this should be a signing that Chelsea should be going in for. If Chelsea go and get a Julian Alvarez, maybe use Enzo Fernandez as a bit of an agent there and trying to help the deal, and you bring in a defender, maybe Mark Gahey, you bring in a goalkeeper. Although Sanchez has done well last 5 or 6 games, he would really be the difference between going and challenging and just participating. Let me know your thoughts. Drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you all soon.